Hello everyone, today we're going to be going over USACO 2016 December contest bronze division, and we're going over the third problem, which is the cow signal. So Bessie and her cow friends are playing as their favorite cow superheroes, and everyone knows that any self-respecting superhero needs a signal to call them to action. So has a special signal on a sheet of M by N paper, and these are the constraints for M and N, but this is too small, and Bessie wants to amplify the signal, so it's exactly k times bigger in each direction. Okay, and the signal will consist of the dot and x characters, right? So it's just made of periods and x's, and the input is going to be m, n, and k separated by spaces on the first line, and then the next m lines is going to contain a length n string that collectively describes the picture of the signal. So this is a fairly simple problem, right? All we need to do is just increase the size of the signal, right? Or in other words, amplify it. And so we're given m and n, which is the dimensions of the actual signal, and then we're given k, which just shows the factor of amplification that we need to use. And so when we amplify the signal by 2, it should come out to be like this. And if you notice, there's actually an easy way to just see how to amplify the signal regardless of what k is. All you need to do is just, if you have one character here, right, in this line, all you need to do is just print out two of them. And then what you need to do is print out two of these lines, right? And this is because instead of just making it confusing and then like doing this times 2, right? Because our multiplication factor is 2. So instead of doing this line times 2 and then the vertical line times 2 and making it confusing, we can just go like this line by line and just multiply each character in the line by 2 and then multiply that line by 2. And as you can see, that strategy works here perfectly. And so there's not much to, I guess, draw out because it's pretty explained well here. So we can just move on to the programming part immediately. So I already have some code set up. So I have some static variables. I have lines and times, right? Lines is just the amount of lines that we have, and times is the amplification factor. And as you can see, we take that in here. Notice that we don't take in the, I guess, the width of the signal. And that's just because it's not really necessary for the strategy that we're using. And so we're just going to take in lines and times. And the game plan for the solve method is just going to be, we need to first take in the individual lines of the signal itself, right? So we're going to take those in one by one. And then we're going to create a string builder, and we're going to duplicate every single character in the signal in each line, right, by X amount of times, right, whatever the amplification factor is. And then we're going to print that line out however big the amplification factor is. So of course, in order to do that, we need to go through each line. So we're going to make a for loop that goes through from 0 to lines. And then once we have that, we can take in our original signal right before we do duplication. And we're using read line because obviously we have a buffer reader. And then now we're creating our string builder, and this is going to be just blank for now. And then we're going to add the duplicate characters in right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to first create another for loop, and then we're going to make it iterate through original. So it's going to be original dot length. And then what it's going to do is it's going to go like in the problem itself, it says that the amplification factor is k, so I'm just going to refer to it as k from now on. So we're going to do that a k amount of times. So it's going to be like this. And then I didn't put int here, but yeah, it's going to do, it's going to duplicate it a k amount of times. So it's going to be sp.append, and then it's going to be original char at, and a. So it's going to do that k amount of times. And then once we have that, then we can do another for loop, and that's going to be printing or duplicating the line k amount of times. So we're going to do this once again, and then we're going to do out.println sb.toString. And the reason why we do this is if we already have our duplicated line right here, right? So for example, like in the first line of the input, we have x period, then it would be six x's and then two periods, right? Since there was three x's and one period in the to begin with. So we're gonna have that 6x and one period, and then we're gonna just print that out twice because our k is 2. So this is amplifying whatever's inside the line k amount of times, and then this is amplifying the line itself k amount of times. Okay, and if we do that, then that's really all we need for our solve method. So if we submit, as you guys can see, it gets all of the test cases correct. And so that was cow signal, right? It was on the easier side of the problems. And I thank you for watching to up to this point. And if you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll try my best to answer them.